Last weekend we learned the first word, obey. Although they know what the Bible says, many Christians believe obedience in this area is optional. The other areas it's required, this area is optional. That they can intentionally disobey the Word of God without any consequences. It's not true. If you want to live according to God's system, following His plan, the starting place is to tithe. Give God the first 10% of your income. Obedience is the foundation of a solid financial strategy. If you get that one wrong, then you choose to handle your finances without God's blessings. Today we have the second word, pay. Jesus said, no one can serve two masters. Either he'll hate the one and love the other, or he will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money. Jesus made it clear, money is not neutral. If you serve it, you'll never be free. Paying what you owe, living debt-free is about choosing the right master. Now, this is going to sound like a crazy idea to some of you. Admittedly, this is counterculture. But I challenge you to try it. Only spend what you have. Crazy idea, isn't it? Credit card companies make it incredibly easy to spend money you don't have. You hit the limit on one credit card, so you open another. You don't see the money actually leaving your account, so you just keep spending. You miss a monthly payment, but it's okay. You'll get it next month with just a small penalty. Some of you get cash back on a percentage of your purchase, so you actually think you're making money by spending money. Not true. If you use credit cards, use them the right way. Pay your entire bill every month, not the minimum payment, the whole balance. Don't use consumer credit. Instead, pay. And you say, but Rod, how will I make it if I can only spend what I make? I won't be able to pay all my bills and still do everything I want. Listen to yourself. It's time for a wake-up call. If you don't have the money, don't make the charge. If you can't keep up with how much you have, go old school. Years ago, Cindy and I did the envelope system. Every paycheck, we'd split what we could spend in envelopes. Grocery money, haircuts, gas, spending money you're eating out. And when the envelope was empty, so were we. If you don't use cash, split it into accounts or sub-accounts. However you do it, set aside specific amounts. Don't spend what you don't have. George is a great guy, faithfully attends church, involved in ministry, doing really great things. But he's in some financial trouble. His job pays him $3,500 a month after taxes, but he spends $3,900 a month. Tithe, groceries, rent, insurance, gas, school supplies for his kid, and subscriptions to 5 different streaming services adds up quick. Now, before I even ask, you all know what George needs to quit spending money on. The streaming services. It's easy to see for George, difficult to see for yourself. But if you don't have the money, don't make the charge. When you spend what you don't have, you engage in what the government calls deficit spending. Deficit spending is when more money goes out than comes in. And when you practice deficit spending, you accumulate debt. You spend and borrow as if you've forgotten you have to pay it back. The problem is you do. Students, you will get, very soon, you'll get an application for a credit card in the mail. I want you to understand that's not free money. You think, well, this is awesome. I got a credit card. I can just, no, you have to pay that back, and you pay it back with a crazy amount of interest. The average interest rate on a credit card is between 22 and 25%. So they want you to get their credit card so they can have you forever. They want you in debt. They don't want you to be good financial managers because they make money when you are stupid. Over the last 25 years, I've had the same meeting more times than I can count. Couple comes in because their marriage is in trouble. I ask a few questions, I listen. And then finally I ask, so how much credit card debt do you have? They look at each other, kind of put their heads down. Finally, one of them says, how did you know? Well, I don't. I'm just asking questions. But over the years, I've learned heavy credit card debt is present in almost every troubled marriage. And after a bit of prodding, I finally get them to guess how much credit card debt they have. They're usually worried they're going to shock me with the amount. Not likely. I've heard $15,000. I've heard $23,000. I've heard $38,000. I've heard $94,000. The highest I've heard was just over $180,000 in credit card debt. So you're probably not going to shock me. Debt puts stress and strain on your marriage. According to Marissa Meyer, credit card companies can predict with 98% accuracy 2 years in advance when a couple is going to divorce, based just on their spending patterns. Debt is a huge strain on your health, your marriage, and your family, whether you're married, divorced, or single. If you have credit card debt, it's one of, if not the biggest source of stress in your life. So I want to challenge you to change your pattern with credit and debt. I want you to think, pay now instead of pay later. This is biblical. Proverbs 22:7, the rich rule over the poor and the borrower is servant of the lender. The Message says it this way, the poor are always ruled over by the rich, so don't borrow and put yourself under their power. Jesus talked about money more than any other subject, not because he needed it, but because he knew how easily it could control us. Here's what he said in Luke 10. This is what we're focusing on this series. Whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much. Whoever is dishonest with very little will also be dishonest with much. Paying your bills, honoring your commitments, and living debt-free isn't just about money, it's about character. It's about being faithful with what God has entrusted to you so he can trust you with more. When you spend more than you make, you stop serving God and you start serving debt. But when you live with discipline and integrity, you declare, God, you're in charge. You're my master, not MasterCard. This is not just a financial issue. This is a spiritual issue. Crushing credit card debt makes you a slave. Your decision is determined not by the direction or voice of God, but by the minimum monthly payment on each card. I don't want you to be a slave. I want you to be free. You say, I think you're overstating it. I'm not a slave. Okay, really? How many times have you wished you could give in an offering only to remember that your American Express bill isn't paid? How many times have you sensed God directing you to bless someone but not been able to because of your massive debt? Some of you have delayed God's call in your life because of debt. Others of you don't obey God and tithe because credit card companies are getting far more than the 10% God asked for. You say, I can't afford to give God 10%, but you're giving Visa 15%. Your debt keeps you from being generous with others and stops you from responding to God's tugging at your heart to give. Sounds like a slave to me. So how do you know if you're a slave? If you have a problem with credit cards? With the help of some friends, I came up with a simple test and I put it in your outline. If you don't have your outline yet, get it out. And just circle or whatever. Answer yes or no to each question. Number one, I've taken a cash advance from one credit card to make a payment on another. That's a vicious cycle. Number two, I'm not sure how many credit cards I have. Don't open your purse or wallet to count. Answer truthfully. I've met people with as many as 25 credit cards. Number three, I'm not exactly sure how much I owe. By the way, when people say that, it's always more than they guess. I've never had someone say, well, I think I owe about $3,000, and it turns out only to be $2,000. If you don't know how much you owe, I know more. More than you think. Number four, I dread going to the mailbox or hurry to the mailbox so my spouse won't see the credit card bills, or you delete the email so you don't have to see it and they won't see the balance. If you're hiding your true position from your spouse, you have a significant problem that's going to get worse. You need to have an honest conversation today if you've broken the bond of trust in your marriage. Number five, I'm making only the minimum monthly payment. That's a trap. You'll never pay your debt down doing that. Let me show you how this works, students. So the average credit card debt is about 25%. They say, it's no problem. You can buy those sneakers now, those $300 sneakers now, and you can just make the minimum monthly payment. It's only going to be $15 a month. It will take you 6 years to pay off those sneakers. At the minimum monthly payment, it takes 6 years to pay off debt. You won't even remember those sneakers in 6 years. Number 6, I pay my credit cards on the final day. I see this all the time. The result is you're one entire month behind. You're paying last month's bills with next month's money. Number 7, I'm optimistic one day all this debt will be gone, but I don't have a plan. That's how you justify still using the cards. You've convinced yourself it's just for a period of time, but you don't know when that period of time will end. Number 8, when it comes to money, I'm on an emotional roller coaster. Some days it doesn't bother you. Other days you feel absolutely overwhelmed. Credit card debt has caused you anxiety, depression, and stress. You're in the 27% of people losing sleep because of money. Number 9, credit card debt is causing significant strain in my marriage. We fight about money. Number 10, I play the balance transfer game, where you transfer balances from one credit card to another in order to avoid payment. Very closely related to that is the interest rate game, where you convince yourself you're making progress by shifting the balance to a lower rate card, but not making any payments against the balance. Okay, go back, look, how many did you answer yes to? If you answered yes to any of them, you may have a problem. If you answered yes to 3 or more of those, you definitely have an issue. You're a slave to your debt. If you answered yes to 5 or more, whether you've admitted it or not yet, you're in crisis. We need to talk about this because too many of you are slaves to the wrong master. So I want to talk to 2 groups of people. First group, you're not yet in debt. You don't use credit cards, maybe because you're not old enough, or you have the wonderful blessing of being rejected. Listen to me, pay. Pay cash for your full balance every month. Don't let Visa, MasterCard, or American Express be your master. It's called MasterCard for a reason. If you can't pay for it now, don't get it. You say, but everyone else has better stuff than me. I get that, but trust me, one day you'll have better stuff with them with one big difference. You'll actually own your stuff instead of paying on it for 6 more years. Pay. Second group of people I want to talk to is those who've neglected this principle. Statistically, that's a large percentage of this room. You have a problem. You might just now be admitting it, or if you've known for quite some time. It seems overwhelming, like there's no hope. Is there any way to dig out? I'm going to help you. I want to give you 10 steps to escape debt slavery. 10 steps. Number 1, start today. Today. Every significant change in your life starts with a commitment. Make the commitment today, right now, to be debt-free. Not tomorrow, not next week or next month. Commit to being debt-free now. It's not going to be easy. You're not going to wake up tomorrow because you made the decision and presto, all your debt is gone. You don't get out of debt by buying lottery tickets on your credit card. Getting in debt doesn't take much work at all. Getting out of debt takes commitment, courage, and discipline. Take the first hard, tough step of character. Make the commitment right now. I'm going to get out of debt. Write the date and time on your outline. It's 10:42 on January 18th. I made the decision. I'm going to get out of debt. This is the moment you decide to escape financial slavery. If you won't make that decision, you'll never get there. Number 2, do a personal financial inventory. Ask these questions. First, what do I own? What do you own? Actually own. That means it's paid for. If you're still paying it on the credit card, you don't own it yet. Somebody else owns it. What do you own? Number 2, what do I owe? Banks, credit cards, cars, what do I owe? Number 3, What do I make? A week, a month? What do I bring home? It fascinates me, but someone will say, I want to talk about money. I'm having a struggle. And the first thing I ask is, what do you make? And they say, well, I'm not exactly sure. Okay, well, that's the first problem. Because if you don't know what you make, there's no way you can know what you spend. Look at your pay stub, or go old school and get an actual check. Know what you make. Number 4, what are my fixed bills? The ones that go out every month that aren't optional. That'd be like rent, water, some things you need. Number 5, what can I live without? This part isn't fun because we've redefined essentials to include streaming services, cell phone data plans, and high-speed internet. But what are the true essentials? The true essentials are what you race to the store to get if the weather report says it's going to snow. Yep, milk and bread. That's the true essentials. Everything else is extra. You prove it because you survive blizzards on milk and bread. And inventory is important because ignorance of your financial condition is a recipe for financial disaster. You need to know where your money's come from, how much it is, where it's going. Sit down and figure out, what do I owe? What do I own? This is a biblical principle, Proverbs 24:3. By wisdom, a house is built. Through understanding, it's established. Then I really like Proverbs 18:13. Common language. It's stupid to decide before knowing the facts. Get the facts on your financial situation. Then after you've made the commitment, done an inventory, get help. Proverbs 20, verse 18 says, get advice if you want your plans to work. If you get sick, go to a doctor. Don't try to cure yourself. Listen to me. Don't trust Dr. Google. There's nothing more depressing than Googling your symptoms. I've learned any symptom you Google, if you just chase it far enough, it tells you could be dead in 5 days. My toe hurts. Death. It's just what's next. Death. I've got the sniffles. It's some virus that started in Africa and you're going to die. If you're lost, ask for directions. If your car breaks, find a mechanic. When something is broke, get someone smarter than you to help you fix it. If you're deeply in debt, you need help from someone smarter than you about money. I'm not talking about salesmen trying to sell you some product. I'm talking about someone who, from an objective viewpoint, can sit down, look at your finances, help you get them in order, figure out a strategy. You got yourself into this mess. You need someone smarter than you to help get you out of it. A great place to get help is Financial Peace University. Starts February 1st at 11:30. There's more information at firstnlr.com/events. Get help. Not just getting out of debt. You should never make a major financial decision or purchase without getting good financial advice because your emotions get involved. You need a voice of reason that says you can't really afford that. But we love this house. That's awesome. I'm glad you love it. Can't afford it? Well, I really want that car. That's great. Can't afford it. Maybe if we just stretch a little. Nope, can't afford it. Get help from somebody smarter than you. It's your smarts that got you into this mess, so your smarts aren't going to get you out of this mess. Number 4, make a budget and live by it. A lot of people make a budget but don't follow it. Then they say, well, we tried a budget and it didn't work. It's not the budget that didn't work. It's you. Number 5, set up a repayment plan. Proverbs 21:5, good planning, hard work lead to prosperity. If you want to be prosperous, you need a plan. If you want to get out of debt, it takes a plan. You need a plan. You also need patience. There is no quick fix. It takes time and commitment. Number 6, here's the key. Stop overspending. No new debt. Most of you got into debt for one reason. There are exceptions. Most of the time, the simple reason you're in debt is because you spend more than you make. Stop it. Not tomorrow, right now. You will never get out of debt if you keep putting things on the credit card you're trying to pay off. Remember the word for today, pay. So I'm going to help you out. I'm going to teach you a really cool phrase. You can write this down. I think it's pretty sticky. I think you can remember it. This is going to help you, okay? Listen close. I'm sorry I can't afford that. All right, say it with me. I'm sorry I can't afford that. Some of you did. Now all together, say it again. I'm sorry I can't afford that. All right, turn to the person next to you and say, I'm sorry I can't afford that. All right, now look at the person on the other side. Say it again. We're going to really practice. Turn around, look at the person behind you, and tell it. That wasn't so hard, was it? It's our stupid pride that keeps us from saying it. Pride keeps us from saying, I'm sorry, we can't eat out with you tonight. It's not in our budget. We can't afford it. Or I'm sorry, I can't afford to go to the movie. I can't afford $17 for a movie right now, or however much it is. Say it. Stop overspending. Jesus said, watch out. Be on your guard against all kinds of greeds. A man's life does not consist in the abundance of his possessions. Greed drives overspending and debt. Jesus warned against the more mindset that traps people financially. Some of you need to get rid of Apple Pay, Cash App, Venmo, or any of the other apps that make it easy to click a button and buy something you can't afford. Some of you need to stop spending time with friends who encourage you to overspend. You may even need to delete some social media accounts so you don't feed your desire to collect more stuff and have more Instagram-worthy experiences than you can afford. Let me let you in on a secret. The average American adult is more than $58,000 in debt. So most of the people you see on social media, they can't afford that stuff either. If you got in debt with credit cards, you need to go home and destroy those things and never use them again. When you get home, have a plastic surgery party. Sit down at the table with your 27 credit cards and a pair of scissors and start cutting. Cry if you need to, but keep cutting till nothing's left. You say, well, Pastor Rod, if you're against credit cards, why do we have credit card giving at church? I'm not against credit cards. I'm against abusing credit cards. Practically, if you travel, you need a credit card. You can't buy an airline ticket without a credit card. When shopping online, you got to have a credit card. Credit cards are not bad as long as you do three things. Number one, pay it off every month. Number two, don't use them to buy things that aren't in your budget. Number three, you and your spouse make the commitment that if you go 1 month without paying it off, you'll destroy that card and never use it again. If you do that, you'll never have a problem with credit cards. The key word is pay. Number 7, increase your income. Say, how am I going to do that? Here's some ideas. You could sell stuff. If you're stuck in debt, you probably have some things in your home you need to get rid of. Have a garage sale or put it on Facebook Marketplace. Sell some stuff you never should have bought. Say, well, I love that stuff. Someone else will too. Get a second job. Say, well, that's crazy. Is it? Just depends on your priorities. Many years ago, it's more than 30 years ago, Cindy and I both took a second job for a year. It wasn't easy. We were tired. But with 4 incomes, we were able to pay off debt and put money away for our son's college before they were even born. I never said it'd be easy, but it's worth it. Here's another idea. Work overtime. Take an extra shift. Volunteer for holiday work. Volunteer for extra jobs. I was ghostwriter on a book, which means you write the book, but someone else's name is on the cover. I made money. I've written for magazines and periodicals and curriculums. Then, here's the secret sauce. That extra money you make, put everything extra towards debt. Don't blow it, don't splurge, pretend like you don't have that money, pay it against your debt. Number 8, be accountable. Many plans fail due to a lack of accountability. Keep meeting with your advisor, bring your budgets and your bills, give them permission to ask you the tough questions. Number 9, don't quit. Galatians 6:9. Let us not get tired of doing what's right, for after a while, we will reap a harvest of blessing if we don't get discouraged and give up. Getting out of debt takes discipline, effort, sacrifice, and time. These principles work, but you have to work the principles. Then, when you pay off the balance on a card, celebrate. But don't celebrate by using the card you just paid off. Okay? When I say celebrate, pat yourself on the back, jump up and down, eat a pack of M&Ms. Cheap celebration. Why does this matter so much? I don't want you to be a slave to debt. I want you to be free to respond to God's call in your life and God's tugging on your heart. All the energy and concern you're currently expending on your debt will be better used advancing the kingdom. Can you imagine how much you could give and save if you were no longer a slave to your debtors? You could be free. It would be stunning how much we could give to the kingdom as a church if all we did was gave to God what we're currently paying on interest on our credit cards. It'd be crazy. Leads me to number 10. Ask God to forgive you for being a poor steward. Don't just address the financial issue, address the spiritual issue. You've put other things before his kingdom and you've not properly managed what he's given you. Ask for forgiveness. Then here's a bonus. This is a tough one. Tell your spouse the truth. Deception is your enemy. Time to come clean. When you leave service and you get in your car and they say, let's go eat lunch at Buffalo Wild Wings. Pull over, put the car in park, look at them and say, I'm sorry, we can't afford that. And then explain why. I haven't been truthful with you. We are deep in debt. When you pay what you owe and live within your means, you're doing more than following a financial plan. You're following Jesus' words. Here's what he said in Matthew 22. Give to Caesar what is Caesar. Give to God what is God's. That's the heart of this message. Honor your commitments to people. Honor your covenant with God. Pay what you owe. Give him what belongs to him. Trust him with the rest. When you do, you'll discover what Jesus promised in John 8:36. If the Son sets you free, you'll be free indeed. That's what I want for you.